All right, fam, it's your brother Assad.
And I'm Adrian.
No, it's your uncle Assad.
And Auntie Adrian.
And we are back again with another quick vlog. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notifications bell so that you'll be notified when we drop new material on this channel. Secondly, in terms of housekeeping, I got to give a special and a significant and a particular and a peculiar shout out to my South African family for all the love you guys have shown this channel. My wife, myself, my children. We greatly appreciate it. Third, in terms of housekeeping, bam, 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 just like that. Bam, 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 just like that. The next meetup will be May 26th at Jamili's at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. That's a Friday. This will be a fundraiser for the African Center for the Study of the United States and the Diaspora Project. We are bringing Africans and African Americans together. It's a family reunion. Y'all know nothing about that. May 26th, 6 o'clock at Jamili's. I will leave the information how to RSVP because this is in conjunction with the African Center for the Study of the United States, Ashley in Africa. And it's 2,000 Rand. 2,000 Rand is a fundraiser. We are trying to raise funds. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam, bam. Just like that. So I will leave the information down in the description. Okay, so now all of those advertisements are over. What are we doing?
Chilling.
Auntie? We are. Say y'all, let me tell you something. This is like one of 4 or 5 ponds in Kyalami. And I mean, just imagine we were taking us a little walk trying to get us some exercise. We lost maybe 3 pounds during Ramadan. We said we're gonna keep this thing going.
Yeah.
We're gonna get slim again. Slim fine. Slim fine. So we're trying to get back on our workout and exercise game. So we've been walking around. So we figured we'd do a vlog and kind of show you like how dope this estate is. So we have great, beautiful neighborhoods in the U.S.
Yeah.
No doubt, but the affordability for us is, yeah. So coming here to SA, we are able to access some very nice neighborhoods, very nice estates, as you guys call them. So we'll take a little walk around and show you some of our favorite things. So from the pond over there, it comes across to this area and this little jungle gym thing. And they have so many of these parks with different levels of like kid play. There's a basketball, like there's parks with actual basketball courts, soccer fields, football fields as you guys call them. The netball, which I don't understand. I'm sorry, baby.
Netball seems to be, is it a women's sport
born
here?
It seems buku born.
Well, I've only seen women playing it. Not to say men don't, but that's a question for the viewers.
Maybe so. Maybe it's a girl sport. I don't know. But so now we're just gonna walk and head towards the street.
All right.
Get us some more exercise. I'm trying to get down to 200 pounds. If I get down to 200 pounds, y'all gonna be telling me nothing.
Shed my auntie body.
I'm gonna be that fine uncle. Girl, you seen the fine uncle? When Uncle Assad coming over, girl? So, as we were talking about accessibility, Adrian, what did you say you read?
Yeah, I was on LinkedIn. And I read someone's post that said that 100,000 US is not good money any longer.
It ain't. You in the struggle.
You in the struggle. And there was a lot of conversation. Like some people were like, oh, I'd love to see it still because I haven't gotten there. But we were just talking about like, it depends on where you live.
Yeah.
And what that 100,000 can get you.
If you're in California with $100,000, you are broke.
Yeah,
you are in the struggle. If you're in New York,
check to check for sure.
Yeah. If you're in New York with 100,000, I think, what did they say the poverty line in New York was 120,000?
Yeah.
So you're below the poverty with 100,000. Isn't that crazy, y'all?
That's crazy.
So,
but with inflation, though, what they were saying is like the cost of houses here, mortgage rates, not here in South Africa,
in
but
the U.S.
now in the U.S.
Yeah.
It's not what it was. It
So
won't carry you as far.
So in New Orleans, 100,000. I can tell you like this here. We had 4 jobs. We were making well over 100,000. Maybe triple that,
like I was balling.
triple plus. I don't know, maybe close to 4. And yeah, just regular. Now, let me say this. We were on a mission, so I guess we could have been balling and I'm gonna go get me a Range Rover, but
None of that.
we didn't do any of that.
We're trying to save.
We're trying to save.
You want to walk back towards the house or somewhere else?
Well, let's see.
That's going towards the front of you.
Let's go up to the other part.
Okay.
All right, let's switch sides because I want to switch my arms.
Okay.
All right.
Let's cross the street so we can-
All right, cool. All right. So the so in New Orleans, if you're making 100,000, right, I would say you're living middle class, right? You're definitely not balling, but you're not broke. You're not gonna starve, you know, but you're not.
And if you're looking at a comparison to others, you're actually doing quite well.
Yeah.
You're looking at how people fall on the income.
Right. Right, because New Orleans is a poor city.
Yeah.
So most people are not making 30,000. So how about that? Most people are not making
It's all relative.
Yeah, and doing good is and then what really is, you know, doing well, like around here. Okay, you can see these beautiful homes, neighborhood that we're walking in. This is absolutely beautiful, right?
You have a library and a, what is this, racquetball? What is it?
Yeah, it's racket inside ball or something. I call it.
It's another name.
So right here,
court. That's it. That's what they call it.
right here by this door is a library. Yeah. So there's a library in there, small library. I guess if you need to sit down and do some research and work. And then here's a squash court, right? Now, we say, wow, this is great. This is living the life. And someone may be in Stain City. It's like, oh, that's cute.
It's all right.
Yeah. Or there are people, there are people definitely in the U.S. living in like Malibu and Beverly Hills and all of those. Yeah.
Calabasas.
All those places. Prince George's County, which is the richest county for African Americans in the United States. They might be like, yeah, that's cool, but have you seen my house? Now the difference, is, as we mentioned before, is affordability, the ability to reach it, right? So some of these houses may be 5-6 million rand.
I don't know, Stain, if I didn't have these kids in private school, I might mess with you too. Don't play.
Yeah. Stain City.
That competitive stuff.
Ooh, I gotta get my life together.
Right.
Yeah. But it's accessibility, because really, like for African Americans, we know my South African family knows this, we come with that US dollar, right? If you're in California, you can sell a house like a 1,300 square foot home. I don't know what that is in square meters, maybe 13? 120 ish
Yeah.
square meters for like $500,000 USD. So easily. So you'll go from living like in the hood, regular degular home, might be falling apart, but you could sell it for $500,000 and come to at least.
Probably way more than that now.
Right, because California is super duper expensive. So, and you can come to South Africa and get you a home like that.
Right.
Easy. And that home might not be $500,000
No,
USD.
it doesn't look like it.
It might be 250, 260.
It really doesn't.
Right.
The ones here, they're $500,000 are gargantuan.
Yeah. So, y'all, let me tell you,
We're going straight up here.
this is nothing but an incline we're walking, and it don't stop. Jesus. It's just like,
always wait on the antibody. Makes it harder to get up.
and there's Uncle Gut. Uncle Gut, but don't worry about it. Let me lose this weight, and I'm bareback everywhere I go. Why outside they never got a shirt on? All he wears,
Why his button up shirt always open?
his button up, he only buttoned the one button at the bottom. Everything else unbuttoned. And he always wear, y'all call them vest. We call them wife beaters.
No, because your youngest moved to be like, guard your modesty.
Yeah.
Guard your modesty.
Yeah. Whoo, going up here. Y'all hear me huffing? We've been walking.
States, man, consider it. consider coming
Yeah.
and, just improving your quality of life.
Right. Get you something nice.
Other factors. It's not just getting into a nice estate. I mean, it's being in estates where you're not the only one.
Right.
In the estate.
Right.
And everybody's looking at you crazy when you walk around your estate.
Our
like
oldest
brother in, what was it, in Florida told us.
Yeah. Okay, let's switch arms. 1 second. So, had to switch arms. And something hit me in my face. But anyway, so but look out, y'all. Look at that. Nice house. Nice house. And I got a question about cars. Look at this house. Now, y'all. Okay. So, I forgot whatever we was talking about before. We may come back to affordability, generational wealth. Oh, yeah. So my son Austin, he went up to the soccer field to go play soccer. It was getting late. It was like 6:05. It was getting dark.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, it's time to go get him in. We were getting ready to eat. Go up to the soccer field. He's playing with 3 other kids, all black South Africans. So that's when you mentioned
not
being the only one. Yeah. So that means
on my walks, I see black South Africans. I see others too.
Others too. No, this is well mixed in.
Very well mixed in.
But you definitely see your own
representation. And
what it means is that his friends' parents are going to be very similar to us in some kind of way, right?
Yeah.
So, kind of same, maybe background, community.
Yeah.
Is it? Hold on 1 second. We getting stopped by the police, y'all. No, I thought he was waiting on us. He wasn't. He's like, oh no, we're not talking to you. What they pull up behind me, Wamp? That's an American conditioning. Something like security pull up behind you. You be like, oh Lord. You know what I'm saying?
I was just watching those videos about people pulling over, cops pulling over black people.
Yeah.
Legally. So, yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, well, why y'all stopping looking at us? See, y'all don't understand. It's trauma. That's trauma. Anything that looked like an official, that wasn't even a police car. That was a truck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
right.
It says estate compliance.
Oh, it did say estate
He's
compliance.
Out there looking to see who he can find.
Oh.
Following the rules.
So here's what I want to know: when we go pick our children up from school, where are y'all getting this money for all these Range Rovers and BMWs? Where y'all work at? We gonna pick our children up.
No, it's too common.
It's like
too common.
Where y'all getting all this money from? I mean, I see more. I'm telling you. So here's what I'm about to call.
Child getting picked up in a Benz.
Let me say it. No, let me call it out. Let me call it out. And y'all, please don't be mad, but this is the truth. Because black people in America do it too. It's the black people driving the Range Rovers and the BMWs. The white people be driving Volkswagens.
Wait, Subarus.
Subarus.
Shout out to the Subarus.
Yeah. I'll be like, we'll sit out there in our little Honda, right? And every car you pass, when I see a Range Rover come out, like it's a black person, sister drive by, black woman. BMW, Porsche. Black woman. The Porsche, the black woman. And I'll be like, what that? Then the white woman come, she got an old Polo. I'm like, you need to be over here with us. Come right here in this Honda. You need to be right here with us. But I want to know where y'all working at. Like
man.
Yeah, because
cars are not for the American folks. Cars are not cheaper here.
No.
That's the same exact price.
A Range Rover still 120,000. Yeah, Range Rover still 120,000. So where y'all getting the money from?
US.
Yeah, 120,000 US.
Yeah. I was looking the other day, like, if I see one more kid getting picked up in these luxury cars.
I'm going to tell you something that hurt my feelings. So hold on 1 second. Switch arms.
Wait, Rick and Cynthia did.
But yeah, so here's what started to disturb me, y'all. We were going to pick up our son from school. And, the children are being let out of school. And we see sometimes that the helpers, the staff, pick the children up. Well, we're used to that now, right? We don't see that in the States, unless you Beverly Hills or something. That's no stuff that we see in the States. But
and when you do, they don't look like us.
Right. So this particular instance was a little black girl, and her help, or the family's help, was an older black woman, right? And she had the little maid uniform on that they be wearing. And she was walking out, and she had there's some steps to go up, and she had that old lady carrying her book bag for her. And I looked to myself, I said, I don't give a damn what her job is. If you don't grab that book bag, little girl, from that old woman, I couldn't believe it. No, we don't play like that. Nah, we don't play like that. You ain't finna let no old woman be carrying your bag. You a child. Matter of fact, old black people don't even play. Nah, I don't care what they do. They could be a dishwasher.
Right.
You gonna
make that child carry that bag.
You gonna carry that bag. Yes, Lord. I'm not. I might be the worker, but I'm not your help like that. Girl, carry that bag because you young. You know, it's like a respect. It's a respect thing, and I know South Africans are big on respecting the elders.
They really are.
So when I saw that, I was like, nah.
What universe is this?
Right. That's when Uncle Asad wanted to come out. Girl, grab that goddamn bag. Matter of fact, you carry her stuff. That's how old black people act where I'm from. All right. So we are still walking, getting some footage here. This is turning out to be a long video. Somebody say Casper, Novus, whatever, the rapper brother. Yeah, he made that word up, he told me. Now he told me, I read he made it up. He ain't tell me, I ain't never met that brother. Right. But, so, this is just a beautiful walk. But anyway, they say he lived back here. Casper lived back here somewhere. I wonder. I'm gonna find his house and go ring his doorbell. Say, bro, can I interview you for the channel?
With the dogs out.
Yeah. But all right, so we're gonna head up to the apartment. Look at this house, y'all. What's going on? That's crazy. That's crazy.
Pablo Escobar.
Don't it? Dope boy house. Dope boy house. You know what I'm saying? I can big meats. Larry Hoover. Another house, y'all. Come on, man. Some of these houses just are so impressive to me. You know, so impressive, because I think to myself, this is just the God honest truth. I'll never be able to afford a house like this in the States. Maybe if I moved to like Alabama, right? I think Alabama has a pretty low cost of living. And not even in the cities in Alabama. I'm talking about in the country, where I'd have to drive 20, 30 miles to get to a city. Which people do.
They live way out in the country.
And build big old beautiful
you get
houses.
into Houston,
Yeah.
you start seeing the states pop up.
Right.
And you still got an hour before you're downtown.
Into Houston. So here's another park that we are up on now. And I love this. See here?
Yeah.
All dogs must be on the leash. Keep your dog together and pick up after your pet. Don't nobody love your dog but you. Right? Want to hit that gazebo?
Yeah.
We'll hit the little gazebo right quick. So now we are chilling at the gazebo. But yeah, so yeah, we couldn't really afford these homes in the U.S. And most black Americans who are watching this know. Like, yeah, there are some nice, Atlanta has some very nice neighborhoods, but the houses are not the same size. Definitely not the same size. And
or
the
you
amenities.
end up being like house poor, meaning like
True.
you spent all your money on a house.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we like to travel. We like to, be able to just have extra money to do fun stuff with. And
right.
when you get these homes in the States, they just suck up so much of your budget.
Watch this.
Like, nah.
And we lived, because we live in South Africa now, right? But when we lived in New Orleans, they had something called flood insurance on top of homeowners insurance. So homeowner is for fire damage or somebody break in or something like that. But we lived literally in a bowl. See, like I went like that.
Yeah.
We right here. The land is up here. We have big levees, big walls around the entire city that stop the water from coming in. And y'all remember Hurricane Katrina? The levees broke and the whole city flooded, right? So once that happened, flood insurance became outrageous. The cost of flood insurance, so if you have a mortgage, your mortgage may only be $800-900. Then you add in homeowners insurance, now you're up to maybe $1,200.
Mm-hmm.
Flood insurance may put you up at $2,000.
Yeah.
And I'm maybe underestimating drastically,
Yeah.
right? So now, what you could
Not
afford,
to mention with the cost of properties going up,
right?
then your taxes go up
every
which
year,
makes that
What makes
that
it
mortgage shoot up quick.
So-
Year over year, it was shooting up.
every year. So yeah, but I guess we could talk. We said Rick and Cynthia had y'all watched the Bag Family? Shout out to the Bag Family.
Yeah, y'all should. I've been watching them a long
They had an episode called Why the Gambia. I guess we're going to start here 20 minutes into this episode and call it Why South Africa.
Yeah, because everybody has different things they're looking for, and that's okay because it's a big enough continent to meet whatever it is that you're looking for.
Yeah.
In particular.
So why did we choose South Africa? We could have gone a number of places.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of black folks going to Central and South America. Some of them going to Europe. A lot of black folks going to Tanzania. Some are going to Ghana, Mexico. So why are we coming to South Africa? I think number one was cultural similarities.
Yeah.
And that includes infrastructure, right? So the people have black South Africans and colored South Africans have a similar history to African Americans, and the infrastructure is fire. So that all that is part of the culture, the history and the people, as well as because infrastructure plays a role in the way a society operates. So that's it. That was number one.
Yeah. Another one I'll say is since we have small children, we're looking at schools, and South Africa has great schools,
Right.
really good schools. So that was another deciding factor.
So the thing about it is, somebody said they were talking about there's this war. There was like this Twitter debate or social media debate about who had the best prom dresses, African Americans in South Africa. And one sister from South Africa was like, well, what does it matter? Let's talk about literacy rates between the two countries. And she was trying to say, so she was saying, my perception was that South Africa apparently had lower literacy rates than the United States. So she was on a post of a South African, talking about the South African sister who had on her, I guess, matrix dance dress, and she was looking phenomenal. And she was like, congratulations to this sister or whatever have you, but let's talk about literacy rates or whatever have you. And she was a South African, so what good? And the reason why I know she was South African is like, what good does it do this country for us to win this and our children can't read or something like that? So me being the person that I am, I said, well, damn, maybe she's right. Let me go look and see the literacy rates. So when I looked it up, now somebody may be able to correct me on if I'm wrong, but it looked like 95% of South Africans, or maybe adult South Africans, are literate. Only 79% of the United States adults. Check on those numbers, but I know I posted it on the thing, and it was just a quick Google search, and those numbers could have changed, but and I was like, oh, they really have this perception like everybody's super educated and everyone has all. No, man, I know buku people, buku.
Yeah.
That if they know how to read, they're not reading on age or grade level.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's, what it does have that's similar to the U.S. is that the quality of education will largely depend on where you live or
and your
what
money.
School you're going to, how much money you have.
That's it.
That's similar.
That's it.
But I think a lot of countries in Africa are similar to where you're going to access better education in private schooling. I think. I could be wrong.
See, in the U.S., it's not necessarily private schooling. So you say, well, they have public education and it's free. But public education in the United States is funded by property tax.
Yeah, property tax.
So if you live in a very nice neighborhood, that means they're paying higher property taxes, meaning they have more funding for their schools. So essentially, you are locked out of that good education if you can't afford to live in that neighborhood. So you're not paying for private schools, which there are a gang of private schools. But you're not paying for private schools per se. In terms of paying the school, you're paying it through your property tax. If you live in a poor neighborhood, a middle class neighborhood where there's not a lot of property tax being collected, there's a lot of renters and stuff like that.
Because a lot of those neighborhoods don't have apartment complexes and
right
things. In fact, they fight against that.
Definitely, multi-family units. It's a no. So then you don't have access to that great education that America touts. Man, America been lying to y'all for a long time, man. Boy, it's tricky the way it's done. You know, it's sometimes it's disturbing or saddening. Not say disturbing, but it's saddening to hear like, oh, I want to go to that country because they think everything is great over there. And I'm just like, man, you can't watch TV and movies and buy that, believe into that. I mean, America has its pluses. The United States has its pluses. If you're a South African and you want to go to the U.S. and get a job making 30, 40,000 and say, you know, my goal is to live very poorly and meagerly over here.
Oof, and that's how to do it in the States.
And then send my money back to SA, that's a good plan. Because if you're making dollars, it's going to stretch further in South Africa and you can come and change your life in South Africa, change your family's life or whatever have you. But the meantime, while you're there, you're going to be living very poorly off of 30 and 40,000 USD. So, what other reasons why that exchange rate? Let's not lie about it. The exchange rate is important. Like,
it's a beautiful country.
Beautiful.
It's a very beautiful place to be and to live, and you have so much available to you within the country. So you don't have to go far. Vacationing. I was saying before we got here, we were like, I want to go and see the rest of Africa, and now that I'm here, I'm like, South Africa's good. Like, yeah. I'll still go and see other countries and stuff, but I'm just like, I gotta
get to Ethiopia.
So satisfied.
I'm going to Ethiopia because I need to see Lalibela. Big old factuals. And for those who don't know what Lalibela is, look it up. But nah, man, been debating with people ever since I made that post, not with people, a person, about when they were saying South Africa. I made a post called South Africa, the most criminal country, or whatever have you, and I was explaining that the previous dispensation of South Africa was the apartheid government, and that it was declared by Geneva as a crime against humanity. So one, I guess he's a white South African, jumped on. So you're blaming today's corruption on the past government? And I was like, that's not what I said, but since you keep poking me, let me give you a history lesson. You know, the apartheid government, for South Africans who know, they shed blood. They forcibly took people off of their land. How can you, again, the operating premise, the general operating premise of the government was apartheid, which is a crime against humanity. How can you point out the corruption here, right, and say it was better then without recognizing what it was then? It was really literally a criminal government. That doesn't mean that South Africa doesn't have corrupt politicians now. That's not the argument. The argument is when you begin to compare this versus that, right? This versus that. One is a crime against humanity and one is an individual or two individuals breaking a law. Two very different things. And then, you know, I like to chasten my South African folk because they're like, yeah, but it's still bad, blah, blah, blah. Don't you know every country in the world, you go talk to any citizen of any country, they're always talking about, man, this place is getting bad.
Politicians.
What did Donald Trump run as? Make America great again, implying that America is not great now. Right? Every person makes every citizen of every nation is making the type of statements, I remember when it was better, or it used to be better. Is this country is going downhill. Everybody in the United States is saying that right now. It's going downhill. What is happening? People on the right are talking about the woke media and all that type of stuff, and this country is going downhill. When Donald Trump was in office, all the people on the left, this country is going downhill, right? Rep your stuff, right? And the problem is the difference between the United States and South Africa is that the United States has a reputation of being great. So no matter how bad we talk about it, the reputation and the perception is that the United States is great.
Yeah.
Right? When you as a South African speak negatively against your nation, particularly in rooms and in the presence of those who are not from South Africa, you're only contributing to the continued negative perception of South Africa has a negative perception. Y'all know it. And y'all contribute to it. Right? So you got to kind of watch that. You're playing into the hands of white racists and white supremacists who want to say that black folks could not run and lead South Africa. No, South Africa's not perfect. And I'm sure there's a lot of corruption going on. And that must be addressed and it must be dealt with. But the language that you use, that you put out into the public, that you put out into this atmosphere, into these airways and on these social media, what they call these algorithms, right? When you put that out there, it perpetuates and reinforces a stereotype about this nation that is untrue. Right? If you ask anybody, like, I did another post, right? South Africa, Johannesburg is so, first of all, in that same conversation that I had with that white man, he told me that Cape Town is a much better ran city and that it's a whole different world down there. And I was like, ain't Cape Town like the murder capital, like Durban and then Cape Town? Like ain't those the two most dangerous cities, right? Johannesburg, in terms of murder rate, ain't rocking with Cape Town is where they really knocking people off at, right? But so they talk about Johannesburg murder. Like, okay, I was like, okay, cool. That's dangerous. Damn, 31.9 out of 100,000. Jesus Christ. Well, let me give you 50 U.S. cities with a higher murder rate. But how come the United States doesn't have a perception of being a dangerous and murderous country? Right. I named 50 cities. 50. And that's from the FBI Crime Index. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, they keep a list.
Basically, all our major cities are more dangerous than Johannesburg.
Listen, and that's just...
Even San Antonio, y'all, where I grew up.
That's a Mexican city.
I was like...
That ain't even black people.
San Antonio is supposed to be the family town.
And Mexicans.
It has a higher murder rate than Joburg.
Buku places.
I could not believe it.
It was all kind of places with higher murder. I named 50 cities in the United States with a higher murder rate than Johannesburg. And of course, my hometown was on there, St. Louis. Like, we way up there. We like number 1 and 2.
We knew New Orleans.
Yeah, we knew New Orleans was up there. But there's 50 of them. But yet the perception is that if you can walk down the streets in the United States and you are just as safe as if you were walking behind the gates in Kyalami. It's not the truth.
It's not the truth.
It's not the truth. Any major city you go into, you are in danger. Just like you are in danger if you're in Joburg and certain parts of Joburg. That's the reality. But the perception is that, oh my God, man, they'll tell you, they give travel restrictions and not restrictions, but warnings against traveling to South Africa because they say it's dangerous. And I'm like, huh? Man, we kill more people in a night. Yeah, per capita, we kill more people in a night in New Orleans than y'all probably do in a month. Easy. I'm talking about per capita.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's no travel restrictions for New Orleans.
No, they tell you, come to New Orleans. They be like, man, y'all should visit New Orleans. Time Magazine named us the #1 place to go and have a good time. Yeah, but then they will kill you, your family, your children, they everybody. I'm telling you, they're serious. They carjacked a 71-year-old grandmother, and her arm she was trying to fight for her car, and these were teenagers, girls. Watch this. These were girls carjacking this woman. Young ladies put a pistol to this woman, tried to take her car, and as they was pulling her out of the car, her arm got caught in the seat belt, and they drove off in her car and ripped her arm from her body. That happened in New Orleans. You understand what I'm saying? And that was just one of many heinous crimes that took place in 2022. Yeah. It was just one of many. But what I'm saying is, you don't get the reputation like, oh, man, everybody knows New Orleans is dangerous. Everybody knows that St. Louis is dangerous. And they still tell you, oh, you can go visit those places. Chicago.
Still going.
Chicago got an Afghanistan murder rate. They call my city New Orleans, like war, New Orleans, and there's a part of town they call East Afghanistan. Because that's how much war is going on out there. And they're going to tell me about Johannesburg, man. Right. But what it is that...
But people will argue. They'll continue arguing with you when you bring up even the stats. So that perception is strong.
It's strong.
It's like you can't break it.
Somebody told me,
it's like a belief.
Somebody told me, they don't... All of the murders are not reported. Then I'm like, how you know then?
Right.
How you know all the murders are not... Make it make sense. And he was like, all the murders are not reported, and this information came from a general, so it's probably,
what
14.
percent is not reported?
He told me it's probably 14,000 per one. I was like, man, you crazy. People would be, man, we'd be riding over bodies on the M1. He said like 14,000. I'm like, for real, bro?
Nah.
Yeah, anyway, man. But anyway, so, all right, family, man, look. Shout out to us.
Long one, huh?
Yeah, it's 35 minutes. Ain't nobody watching all this, but it's good. All right, family.
And if you did, salute.
You a soldier. If you watch to the end, put soldier in the comments. You heard me. Put soldier, you heard me. All right, family. Love y'all. See y'all soon. Remember, let me say this. Remember, May 26th.